Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Sideline Banter brought to you by Women of Fantasy Football. I am Sam Holt, and of course, I am joined by my wonderful co host, Derek Tate. Tate, how are you? We are live. We're reacting to the fact that we now know the Super Bowl is going to be with the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots.
Do you know what that
We
means?
called it!
Yeah, we did. I
We
went
were right.
2-0, and maybe I cheated by just, following your
You
picks.
copied my
But
answers.
well, I learned that betting against the women in my life does not work out well for me. So
But you know what?
I'm
You
not
can
against Christmas treeing a test every now and then if it works out in my favor.
No, and you know what I'm learning from that? You learn and you are adjusting your behavior. So I appreciate you learning that you need to be listening to the women in your life. So thank you so much for doing that. Guys, if you are
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Come on. I still haven't learned everything from you suggest, which is stop putting my last name into things. Anyway, continue.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions you want to throw them in the chat, please do so. Tate and I are going to be reviewing, obviously, the championship weekend and covering all the fun things, what the Patriots did right, what the Seahawks absolutely crushed, and maybe some gaps that the Broncos and Rams need to be correcting going into next season. Plus, thankfully, this January is full of tons of news that we have plenty to talk about when it comes to other things, moves going into the rest of the season for the rest of the teams. We don't necessarily have to talk about all of them, specifically, the Steelers and Mike McCarthy. We can move on and put a pin in that for later. Let's first focus on the reactions from these games. Do you want to talk about the fun game or do you want to talk about the snow game? Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, considering I got snowed in all weekend, let's go ahead and start with that nasty weather that, impacted my weekend for the positive, may I add, but still a lot of snow.
That was a wild snowstorm. And I think that the cold front that was coming in, I think we all knew that it was going to be bad weather for this weekend. I did not know, and maybe it's just my California naivete, that it was going to be this bad in terms of creating a blizzard mid-game. The before and after of pictures from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, jarring to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a winter wonderland. Like, it looked like an old throwback, like NFL films type of, like, throw the old school music on there, and it's just like these two teams in a absolute dogfight, low scoring, no offense. Yeah, it fit the bill for an ugly, nasty game that somebody had to win, and who we predicted did win the game, but in a game that we didn't really predict how it was accurately going to play out.
Yes. So looking at the box score in terms of what we got versus what we bet, I want to first talk about what we bet. We both picked the Patriots in this one. I had them winning 27-21. You had them winning 23-10. And we basically didn't get scores in the fourth quarter. We got tricklings of scores the rest of the game. And I think when I posted over the weekend that, because I'm trying to be honest, as we're making picks, I want to make sure we stick to them and I'm posting them. I'm not going to, bandwagon jump on a team right before. I'm going to stick with the picks that we make here because I want to be honest. But I posted the scores that we posted for this a little bit late. And then as soon as I did, I messaged you. Broncos scored right out of the gate, and Stidham looked good. This opening drive, the Broncos looked like, oh no, they're going to be able to run away with this at home, and this is going to be a very happy crowd at the end of this game. Where did it start to go wrong for them? Because Stidham looked great. That first drive, those first couple of plays, where did the wheels fall off, or can we just blame it on the snow?
So where I want to go ahead and say that I think the turning point for the momentum kind of going against the Denver Broncos, they scored that touchdown in the first quarter, right? And Stidham on that touchdown drive threw a beautiful post route, and it was schemed up perfectly by Sean Payton. Stidham delivered and then followed it up right afterwards with a touchdown pass. And you start going, okay, maybe this is Sean Payton's masterpiece. He is a Hall of Fame coach after all. He is an offensive guru. Whether his personality rubs you the wrong way or not, the man can coach ball. And one thing that I feel like maybe you and I both watching that first quarter play out, maybe we're like, maybe we underestimated Sean Payton's impact on this game just a little bit.
Yeah.
But then they encounter a 4th and 1 when the conditions were still pretty reasonable, right? Pretty manageable. And they had a chance to kick a field goal. And instead, Sean Payton keeps his foot on the gas and goes for it. They don't get it.
No.
And that 10 points won this football game. So that's where I think when they decided to go for it on 4th down, they didn't get it. And then Stidham kind of started to show some of the maybe jitters where it's a big moment, got away from those first 15 scripted plays that Sean Payton probably had dialed up specifically for this matchup. And then once both teams kind of settled in, Stidham wasn't able to get very much going on the offensive end. And of course, the conditions didn't help matters.
No, they definitely didn't help. And Joe in the chat saying exactly what you just did. Going for it on that 4th down is when it all went downhill for the Broncos. I agree. It felt like Sean Payton had the number, had the ticket, knew exactly what to do with these opening drives. But when these small decisions came up later on, and I mean, this is really what, given the conditions that came across later, cemented the game for them, because the rest of the game, it was hard for both teams on both ends to try and get progress. Both of these defenses did not let up. So it was just a scrappy, had to be on the ground because when the ball was in the air, I couldn't see it. I don't know how they could see it on the field, but there was just no way that they were going to be able to play catch up given the fact that they were already behind. It was just brutal in terms of trying to see them scramble and not be able to do anything. That's speaking on the Broncos, but I want to talk about the Patriots and what they did right, because it felt like things not necessarily fell their way, but when you look at the box score in terms of, offense that was done and was won, Drake May has 86 passing yards. And Ramondre Stevenson only had, 71 rushing yards. I mean, it feels like it should be higher for how much they were on the ground and they weren't able to pass. 25 carries, still a lot, but it feels like that number for the rushes should be higher. Trevion Henderson, only 5 rushing yards, 3 carries. I'm just struggling to see, I think I should preface this by saying, I'm concerned for the Patriots, and because we'll talk about the Seahawks next, preparing to go against this Seahawks defense. And is it just a case of these conditions, or is this kind of feel like the Patriots we've been seeing all season, in that it takes all of the team to be operating on all cylinders to get a win?
Well, I think you saw some of the deficiencies for the Patriots wide receiver room kind of get exposed by a very talented defense in secondary with the Denver Broncos. And of course, Denver can also get after the passer. I mean, they're in the conversation for best defense in the NFL. I mean, certainly others have made a case, but they're in that conversation. And we saw Mac Hollins. I mean, Mac Hollins led the team in receiving with 51 yards on just 2 receptions. I mean, there was just not much through the air. Drake May got sacked 5 times, but Sam, the force multiplier for this Patriots offense, and has proven to be a get out of jail free card when other things aren't working, is Drake May making something happen. And you mentioned both leading backs, both Ramondre Stevenson and RJ Harvey averaged just 2.8 yards per carry. There was not much going on the ground for either football team, but Drake May, to his credit, the 65 rushing yards to go with the 86 passing yards and no interceptions. He managed the game and he didn't lose it for his team despite being under duress, being sacked 5 times. I think Drake May was the difference in a defensive oriented game in terrible conditions, and Drake May was the difference. So does that necessarily make me feel confident they're going to be able to beat the Seattle Seahawks? We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but for this one, it was an ugly game, but in a game that determines who goes to the Super Bowl, if you got to win ugly, the Patriots have proven they can do that this postseason.
Absolutely. Lots of people joining in the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining us and having some fun. This one from Joe. The whole schedule fell the Patriots' way. There's definitely been a lot of consistency with that sentiment that the Patriots had one of the easier schedules compared to the rest of the teams in the league, and that we're seeing a
Yeah.
lot of this. I mean, I think you can say a lot of those things, but they did beat Houston. They've done a lot of things to win, to get themselves in this position. And I don't want to just let that be the default. Oh, because they had an easy schedule, they got in. I feel like it's too flippant to just cast it off that way. I think there's too many other things, but there's a lot I think here in the chat that I also want to point out specifically about the Patriots as we kind of dissect this. This one from Joe is interesting too. In regards to fantasy, this running back playoff usage for the Patriots has me worried about Trayvon's value next year. Fair. I feel like Trayvon's so young that I still feel like he obviously holds value, especially for myself. And Tate, you do this as well. We play a lot of Dynasty.
Yep.
I have several shares of Trayvon in Dynasty, and I'm very happy about them. If this is the first year usage, and obviously Ramondre had a ton of use this season, he's young. He's going to end up getting those carries later, in my opinion.
Well, what I think about Trey Henderson moving forward is this is a playoff scenario, and we've seen the coaching staff clearly prefer the veteran over the rookie in big spots, right?
Playoff football, it makes sense.
Right. And not to mention for this type of weather, you kind of want more of a physical thumper that physically imposes his will against opposing defenses. Not to say that Henderson isn't a physical back, but in those type of nasty conditions, sometimes just the 3 yards and a cloud of dust and being able to win in those short yardage situations and convert first downs, that's more valuable than the guy who can pop a 70-yard run when a hole opens up. So, to me, I'm not concerned about Henderson. I think he's still got a very bright future in an offense that seems to be ascending because the New England Patriots, I mean, Sam, you mentioned their schedule. Yes, the regular season schedule, it was pretty soft. But I mentioned in wild card round preview that Drake May didn't play a top 10 scoring defense all season long. Who does he go and beat? The Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos in 3 straight games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how he got it done. Like,
he got it done.
He got it done in his second year. And you look at what that roster was last year and how inept they were on the offensive side of the ball. And really, their biggest addition was Stephon Diggs.
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a huge testament as well to Mike Vrabel in terms of what he's been able to do with this program, to create schemes that makes everyone equally successful or create just opportunities for them as well. This one in the chat I want to pop up here too because it's on the subject of the Patriots and I think it's hilarious because it's true. Can we all boycott the Super Bowl for the fact that the Patriots are in it again? They've been in it 37.5% since the year 2001.
Wow.
I don't have time to fact check it, but I love the idea of this stat. I think it's hilarious. Also really funny because this is just such the way that football fans are too. We've been saying we're tired of the Chiefs for a hot minute, but I've seen so many of the Thanos memes of like him looking at the gauntlet and it's the Chiefs and him looking up and it's the Patriots and it's like, but I'm back. And it's like, yes, you're still dealing with the same thing yet again. And I feel like this is something that's going to come up a lot in media as we go towards the Super Bowl as well. But like most teams, I'm just going to throw mine in there as well because I might as well.
Go ahead.
Here's a little bit. When you're going through a rebuild and you're watching your team lose the GOAT that was Tom Brady, you no longer have Bill Belichick, who should be a first ballot Hall of Fame coach and is not. Put a pin in that little fun news for a second, because that came across today too. But the fact that you lose this incredible coach, this incredible talent of a quarterback in Brady, and you don't have to wait that long to have a new trip to the Super Bowl with another new coach and a very young quarterback, it's not fair.
You said Thanos, and the first thing that came to mind when you mentioned his name was I am inevitable. Like,
That's just the Patriots. That's, Robert Kraft in the background. That's him. I'm inevitable.
Yeah.
It just says a lot too to me about what organizations, and we talked a little bit about this last week actually, in terms of them creating situations for their team to be successful.
Mhm.
On every single front, in terms of, okay, this isn't working, we're getting a new coach. This isn't working, we're switching up at quarterback. But then also just creating other, whatever you want to call it, in the background to make everyone connect and have that communication work and everyone be functional. Because you're also seeing teams like, not only did Vrabel just go and leave the Titans, he was with them for a couple of years, and first year with the Patriots, he's able to do it. Not fair. But also you see coaches like Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll. They're now both with the Titans. Is this quick shift going to mean something amazing for them? I don't know, because we haven't seen that organization put enough into that team to see them have spikes of success. You're seeing whether the Patriots win or not, this is a huge success spike. And the question is, can they keep that momentum?
Well, that momentum may come to a halt against the Seattle Seahawks, but we'll get to that in a couple minutes. But ultimately, you have a coach that has a proven track record of success. Honestly, I don't know why he lost his job in Tennessee to begin with, but he did. The Patriots, I think, realized pretty quickly that Gerard Mayo, while, a capable player and certainly a part of that Patriots organization and kind of handpicked by Bill Belichick to be a potential successor, it didn't work out. So they immediately scrapped it and went and got a coach of the year that happened to be available, that also was a part of the on-field dynasty that Belichick created along with Tom Brady. So it sometimes, the truth can be even wilder than fiction, because it just happens. It looks like history could be repeating itself. The Patriots dynasty under Tom Brady was launched in a bad weather game against the then Oakland Raiders. Now in a bad weather game against another AFC West team in the snow, Drake May delivers, and we'll see what they're able to produce against, I imagine, a Seattle Seahawks team that's probably going to be favored in this upcoming Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're watching the beginnings of the next, I hate to say it, dynasty. The next big.
Too early. Too early.
Too early. I don't know that it is too early, because honestly, again, and we can go and jump into talking about we can talk about the Seahawks and the Rams next, so that we can talk about these two teams meeting, obviously. But I do feel like whether they win or lose this Super Bowl, there is a lot proven with what Mike Vrabel was able to do with this team this season. And that's going to be a lot in terms of drive for, when they go and they're looking for free agents this offseason. That is a huge pedigree to say, look what we did with what we had. You want to join up with this? That's a really big, feather in their cap in terms of going into those meetings and saying, and trying to grab more talent. Because yes, they went out and, to your point, they got Stephon Diggs, who has been having to bounce around to find a team that will use him. And everything that you've seen from him on the sidelines in games this season has been very team mindset. It's been a very different Stephon Diggs to what we've seen in the past. It's just very much about being there with his team. Now, are they going to go out and get another veteran? Are they going to go out and get another player? What picks are they going to add? Is he still going to be with the Patriots going into next season? I'm not sure. But I do feel like there's several gaps that they can go in and continue to build on, because there's just so much room for going up, building off of this receiving core.
Yeah, I mean, Drake, who isn't going to want what proven receiver after watching this Patriots team go to the Super Bowl? And they damn well could win it. I'm not saying that they're just going to get steamrolled by the Seahawks by any stretch of the imagination. I think they have the better quarterback.
Yes.
But who's to say that any proven veteran, like you already kind of just alleviated to, isn't going to want to go and be the number one for Drake May for not only this upcoming 2026 season, but maybe for the future? Because Drake May looks like he could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. It's astounding what he's done in year number 2, and that he's going to have an opportunity to hoist the Lombardi Trophy in his first full season as a starter. I mean, nothing but love and tip of the hat to Drake May, even though the box score maybe doesn't suggest that he had a dynamic game. He was the difference in that contest. So mad props to him. And, they are way ahead of schedule. I'm with you. There is so much room for optimism that this Patriots team that we saw in 2025, they could be even better and better moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's jump to the Seahawks-Rams game because there's a lot more stats to talk about here in terms of everything that was put on offense here. Because I prepped going into Broncos-Patriots with our scores, I'm going to say ours from last week again as well, leading into this one. We both picked the Seahawks. I went 34-21 Seahawks, and you went 27-20. And we ended up with, kind of felt like middle, but still a close, 31-27, Seahawks get the win. There's a lot of emotions, I think, around this game because this felt like the Super Bowl. That was a lot that I was seeing on X and I was seeing in the media. This just felt like this was our Super Bowl. Not saying that this next game coming up isn't going to be great, but this was a hell of a game, Tate.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly had a little bit of everything.
I did. It had the drama on all sides. People were being scrappy on field. It was getting chippy. There was all of that. There was tough calls made by both coaches. There were moments where both quarterbacks looked like they were going to save their team on different drives.
Yep.
It was a popcorn cinema-esque level game.
And you had the stars show up.
You did.
You had the all but likely MVP in this one, Matthew Stafford going 374 and 3 scores, right? You had Puka Nacua going bonkers with 9 for 165. Devontae Adams, also future Hall of Famer, 4 for 89 and a score, looking for his first trip to the Super Bowl. And he's this close.
So close.
But to me, Sam, the takeaway from this one, and while Jackson Smith-Njigba looked like the best receiver on the field, no disrespect to Puka Nacua. I mean, 10 for 153 and a score. Another outstanding performance from JSN. To me, Sam Darnold's a story because while a lot of teams have doubted the Patriots for their, weak schedule throughout this season, most have doubted whether or not you could trust Sam Darnold in a big moment.
Yeah.
And we even had a question at the very end of last week's episode, hey, what would it be like if a bad quarterback, maybe like Darnold's name was mentioned in the question that, how does it feel if a team with a bad quarterback wins a Super Bowl? Does it feel legitimate? I think that Sam Darnold, while yes, he got off to a rough start in his NFL career in a bad organization with the New York Jets, who still can't find a damn quarterback and still can't find a damn head coach. The journey of Sam Darnold has been one that, while everybody has given Baker Mayfield his flowers for his resurrection of his career in Tampa Bay, Sam Darnold has not only done it in one location, he's now done it in two consecutive years, and now he's going to his first Super Bowl ever. I mean, 346, 3 touchdowns against that Rams defense in a shootout against the MVP this season. I think that you have to, all the Sam Darnold haters or doubters, what you got now?
Yeah, exactly. What do you have now? I think today you and I were sending each other a lot of different news memes going back and forth. And one of them was just, sorry, I send you a lot of stuff. I do. Thanks for laughing. But there was one where it was pictures of Sam Darnold in the different uniforms. And one saying, I'm good at football. Jets uniform. Panthers uniform. I'm good at football. Minnesota. I told you I'm good at football. And finally, Seahawks jersey. Guys, I'm good at football. It's taken a lot for people to recognize that Sam Darnold has what it takes to get wins out of his team. I was convinced last year in the offseason that the Vikings were going to keep Sam Darnold and build off of the year that they had. They did not do that. They said, no, thank you. And he moved on. And they moved on from him, I should say. And now he did the exact same thing to an even better degree, I would argue, with the Seahawks, and now has them in a position to go and win a Super Bowl. We talk about storylines going in. One that's going to be consistent is the fact that this feels like a redemption bowl for both the Patriots and the Seahawks, in that it's redemption for Sam Darnold of, I have been that guy. I've just not had a franchise believe in me. And you've got Mike Vrabel, who just got ditched by the Titans and went out and got his team, his new team, to the Super Bowl in his first season as well. There's a lot of fun drama to
A
that.
lot to unwrap there. Sam, I love that you brought up Sam Darnold's, story and kind of feeling like he's been a bit of a cast off, a misfit toy, if you will.
He's been friend zoned. Essentially. Team after team. No, thank you. I'm looking for something better. I'm going to continue swiping.
Well, I'll say this, and I believe, and I can't take credit for this take. I'm going to credit the source where Nick Wright of First Things First on FS1. I do tune in quite a bit, and I love this analogy for Sam Darnold is that once you have built up such a bad line of credit with your on-field performance, it's very tough to change that narrative, even if you play outstanding.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have it's like, okay, you did it once, but there's what happened earlier in your career. Mm-hmm. And he did it again. And like you said, not only did he duplicate his success that he had with the Minnesota Vikings, he one-upped himself. And now he's going to a Super Bowl, and he's on the precipice of holding and hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
Yes.
And you said something that also kind of sat with me is a team believed in him. They gave him a multi-year commitment. And while you can dissect the nuances of that contract, could they have gotten out of it after this year? Well, guess what? They're not getting out of that.
No, they're bought in. They're stamped that. We're running it back next year. You can't tell me.
Put a ring on it. He's going to put a ring on it. It's going to be a long-term commitment.
There's so much good stuff going into this one of all these storylines. I mean, I think there's 1,000 fun things that are fun about the hype leading up to the Super Bowl, but the storylines around each player, about each history of each player, their family's history, all of this spotlight on Sam Darnold is huge. The one that I think is interesting, and he even called out in his press conference saying, you're the first one of the 2018 class to make it to the Super Bowl. He had to pause and say, actually, I did go to the Super Bowl with the Niners. He was the backup. He was not on the podiums. He was in the background. He was just sitting at the quarterback's table. He was in the mix, though. He was there. He's like, technically, I've been here before. I think that's something that's really important that people need to continue to keep in mind and what that means as the backup, because we did see it. If your quarterback goes down in the Super Bowl, you have to be ready next man up to go out there and perform with your team. So I would argue it's all a lot of pressure for these players, but that's a very specific type of pressure to have this mindset of this is the biggest stage, the biggest game, and I have to back up and be ready should our leader go down, and I need to be out there and perform. I think what it also shows is there's a lot of history to this veteran energy that Sam Darnold is bringing that I don't think people are prepared for.
Well, Sam, I think that most people can relate to growing through adversity because a lot of times, you look at some of these players that get drafted in the top 5 or in the first round, and maybe throughout most of their lives, it came easy to them because they had all this talent. And I'm not saying that they don't work at their craft throughout their, high school and collegiate careers, but, you kind of look at it like, well, maybe a lot of these superstar athletes don't have a ton of adversity that they face. Well, Sam Darnold was damn near cast out of the league. It felt like his story felt like it was already written in ink, and people were just ready to say, "Yep, Sam Darnold's a bust."
He sees ghosts. He doesn't have what it takes.
Exactly.
He gets got. He's deer in the headlights. All of these different storylines we have heard about him, and with this game, he gets to squash a lot of that.
that takes a very mentally tough human being to be able to
Absolutely.
not only take a look in the mirror and accept a role that you probably deep down always feel and know in your soul you're not meant for. You're not meant to be a backup quarterback for the
No.
rest of your NFL career. I don't think that there was any doubt in Sam Darnold's mind that he was always a starting quarterback in this league and that he was capable of going and leading his team to a Super Bowl and winning one.
Yeah.
So the fact that he had the humility to be able to look at working behind Brock Purdy or anybody else during his NFL career, and he continued to work at his craft and continue to get better, continue to learn. Like, that is a testament to somebody who is made of the right stuff. And once upon a time, and this is why it's so fascinating, if you just rewind the clock to less than a calendar year ago, did people even think it was the right move to trade Geno Smith to bring in Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I remember hearing Seahawks fans go, I don't know about this move.
Yeah, there were a lot of question marks.
And this is how it turned out. It turned out to be the right move.
Turned out to be the right move.
They got rid of Geno. They got rid of DK Metcalf. They got rid of Tyler Lockett, Sam. And here they are. They're on the doorstep.
On the doorstep.
Of winning a Super Bowl.
I mean, just to tie a bow on one of the things that you said, pressure makes diamonds, and you need a lot of those to fill a Super Bowl ring. So I feel like they're ready to do that for Seattle. On that same note, we have some comments here in the chat. This one from Knucklebuster420. Amazing name. Sam Darnold has proven to him he is not bad. In addition to that, I wish the Raiders would have grabbed him instead of Geno.
They did have that opportunity, which is oddly
poetic. But yeah, let's take all of this and roll it into what we think this Super Bowl is going to look like in terms of the Patriots team that we just saw. We've just discussed their strength of schedule, a lot of question marks there, but Drake May has been having obviously an incredible season. He's able to do a lot of things that not everyone can. His scrambling, his running is next level. Talk about two quarterbacks that both present with very cool level heads going into this game. Mm-hmm. Drake May and Sam Darnold, they look like ducks on a pond, and under the water, their feet probably aren't even pedaling that fast because they just look so calm and collected. And I think it's also a testament to their coaches that proves the level caliber player that we've gotten both of them. But one thing we haven't talked about the Seahawks that I want to talk about right out the gate in this game, this Seattle defense is an incredible, massive monster of a defense. I said it last week and I'll say it again. They make grown men cry, and they made the Rams cry. Ugh, it was hard to watch, but they are absolutely phenomenal. I do feel like it was kind of a back and forth game in so many ways that the Rams kept the speed going. So it was hard for the defense to do what they did the week before, which was get that lead and just start pummeling. Mm-hmm. I'm very concerned that the Patriots aren't going to be able to keep up on offense in the same way, and the defense is going to get ahead of them.
Right, and that's when we're talking about pure preview of this upcoming Super Bowl between the Seahawks and the Patriots. Styles make fights, and the matchup is one that I don't find to be super favorable for the Patriots offense versus the Seahawks defense. That being said, though, Sam, the Rams did score 27 points in this game.
They did.
Which is a very respectable mark. And
pretty high.
Once upon a time, looking at this, old Buccaneers helmet, they did beat the Seahawks 38-35 in Seattle once upon a time. This defense, while great and makes grown men cry, like you say, and has all kinds of talent from top to bottom on the roster, and they've got one of the best defensive lines in the game, also scheming stuff up.
Whew. Yeah, they do.
They are not completely invulnerable to occasionally giving up some big plays and some points.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I feel like it's a bad matchup more so for the Patriots than I do for the Seahawks on that specific side of the football matchup, the Patriots don't have a Puka Nacua. I think Devontae Adams is a better player than Stephon Diggs is at their respective points on the tail end of their Hall of Fame careers. So do I think that the Patriots are going to have as much success being able to, occasionally gash the Seahawks secondary on occasion? I don't. I also kind of worry about Ramondre Stevenson, who ho-hummed his way to 2.8 yards per carry against the Denver Broncos.
Ho-hum is a great way to say it.
against this defensive front. Yeah, so when I'm looking at that side of the football and that matchup, I'm going edge Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you bring up some really great points in terms of, I'm gassing up the Seattle defense, and I feel like for all the right reasons. And when you compare what they were doing in season, there wasn't, outside of the matchup that you brought up against your Bucks and outside of their matchups against the Rams, no other team had as many points on them. Now they've eliminated the Rams. I'm sorry, but your Bucks aren't there either.
All right, I get it. Thank you.
I said I'm sorry. But
that's like saying with all due respect, and then you can just, gut me.
You can't just say whatever you want to me after you say that. That's not how it works. Actually, it's exactly how it works. I use it at work all the time. No, I don't. There's a lot to say about what this defense has done historically over this season against opponents, keeping them to low-scoring games. And in terms of sample sizes of who was able to get the best of them, they're not facing those teams in this Super Bowl. And obviously just faced the Rams and were able to get the win on them there. I feel like, again, this is going to be a very interesting coaching chess match between our two coaches. We've got Mike and Mike also, which is kind of hilarious. We have both coaches are named Mike. Going into this one, it's going to be interesting to see how they play each other, because I feel like Vrabel showed a lot of ability to pivot in this last one in terms of changing up defenses against the Broncos and making adjustments. We've seen the Seahawks make a lot of adjustments as well on both sides. We saw tempers flare a little bit for the Seattle defense when there was a few little muffs, little misses, an unnecessary flag, or you'd say
Reek Woolen.
Yes, there was some
Reek Woolen come to mind.
There was a couple of those. Some unnecessary penalties that you could tell there was a lot of energy and angst on the sidelines. And this is going to be another, obviously, big game, biggest stage, a lot of pressure there. I feel like this defense needs to take all of the notes from this game and make sure that they don't let their emotions get the better of them against the Patriots, because I feel like with Vrabel, he's so smart and he's done a lot with this team. He might be looking to capitalize on some weaknesses if the Seahawks show one. To me, this is going to be a game of whoever shows sign of weakness first is going to struggle.
Well, I guess I'll ask, where do you see the Patriots having an advantage on the offensive side of the ball against this defense?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know that they have one. I don't think that.
Drake May is the answer.
Well, I was going to say, the only one that I can think of would be Drake May in terms of the ability to pivot, be able to get the run. And if the looks aren't there down the field, he's just going to carry it himself. He's got that ability to do so. So the defense is obviously going to have to play towards that as well, to make sure that they keep pressure on him so he doesn't feel like he has the space to get out there and run around.
So what I kind of think is going to happen, because we did just see Drake May, one of the best things that he did in that AFC Championship game was use his legs.
Yeah.
So if I'm Mike McDonald and I'm trying to scheme up a way, because I'm not scared, and maybe I'm not saying that Matt Collins or Stephon Diggs or Kayshon Boutte or Pop Douglas, they can't
Hunter
pop,
Henry.
like, no pun intended. They can't pop a big play here or there if schemed
No.
up properly by Josh McDaniels, who's also a very experienced coach, who is certainly factors into this equation. But I'm definitely going to put a spy on Drake May, whether that's Ernest Jones
100%.
or Dre Thomas or Nicoman Wari. Like, that's I'm going to trust the guys out on the outside, Devin Witherspoon, Reek Woolen, Julian Love. I mean, no matter Josh Jobe, like whoever you want to try to rely on in single coverage, and whether you want to do that via zone or man coverage, you got to have a solution to the problem that is Drake May.
Yeah.
And I think trying to spy him on important third downs is going to factor into this equation a little bit, because I just can't see Mike Macdonald reviewing that game tape and allowing Drake May to beat you with his legs in big third down situations.
Oh, 100%. I just feel like that is going to be the key. How much can they bottle up and frustrate and get pressure on Drake May so that way it completely, stymies this offense? Because on the other side of the ball, watching what Jackson Smith and Jigba was able to do against pressure from the Rams, he was able to get space in ways that made me question whether or not they even knew he was on the team to cover him. He was getting huge openings and able to make himself available to Sam Darnold in every single opportunity he could. It was incredible to watch the clinic he put on that separation he was getting.
He did, but here, so if we're going to focus now on the flip side of things,
Yeah.
now you're looking at
Switch.
how does the Seahawks offense match up against the New England Patriots defense? Yeah, you got JSN on one side, but I think one of the best young lockdown corners in the NFL is on the Patriots roster. So there could be a neutralizer. And I'm not saying that JSN is going to do nothing in this game. But
Yeah.
Christian Gonzalez, Sam, is a bad man.
Yeah.
Like, he was an X factor in this game with a sack and a pick, the game sealing pick for the New England Patriots defense. And by the way, I know we've talked about, Drake May and the offense and how they've had a weak schedule. Can we talk about how the Mike Vrabel has had this defense ready to play in every single damn playoff game so far on this run to the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. No, they've been locked in.
And Gonzalez is the one guy that he's dynamic. Like, that is going to be, I think, the temperature check of how that matchup plays out is how Gonzalez, when matched up against JSN, who wins that battle, Sam? And I know you can do a lot of things. Clint Kubiak is probably already in the lab trying to find out ways and tendencies of where Christian Gonzalez lines up. How can I get JSN the ideal matchup? But Marcus Jones is also one of the best nickels in the NFL. Like, this defense has a lot of answers that I didn't know that they had because of the lack of quality quarterbacks that they played throughout the season. But damn, if I had not been super impressed with this secondary, and it's headlined by a star in Christian Gonzalez. So I wouldn't be surprised, Sam, if it's going to be have to be somebody else, whether it's Rashid Shaheed or Cooper Kupp or Jake Bobo or AJ Barner or Elijah Arroyo, somebody else who ends up exploiting a different matchup on that New England back end to potentially generate explosive plays in this Clint Kubiak scheme.
That's a fantastic point. I was just flipping between their stats, just their measurables between JSN and Gonzalez as well.
What do you got?
Gonzalez is 6'1", JSN 6 foot, JSN 197, and Gonzalez 205. They are pretty darn matched up in terms of simple metrics. Exactly the same age. I think the difference in age is about 4 months. So they're right there in terms of this competitive level of being able to line up and match up kind of perfectly with each other. And to your point of who else is going to have to step up if JSN is bottled up, we watched Cooper Kupp, congratulations on your petty parlay, absolutely level up and prove the veteran talent that he is, again, adding to this whole storyline of redemption. Cooper Kupp didn't get the extension with the Rams, beat them, and is now headed back to the Super Bowl himself. I definitely feel like they can lean on him. Shaheed has been an absolute monster for the Seahawks as well, especially on special teams. He's going to end up being huge as well. And when it comes to the running backs, Kenneth Walker, though his total box score of yards wasn't as high as you'd expect it to be in this one, he put on a clinic in terms of breaking tackles and his ability to run under pressure. It was like he was trying to dance to prove how talented he is as a runner.
Well, I thought that he played a complete game.
He did.
I get that
very balanced.
The 3.3 yards per carry is nothing to write home about when you're looking just at the box score, but I thought he played better than the numbers did. I don't have his yards after contact per attempt numbers from specifically the NFC Championship game, but I did see the contribution, Sam, with him out of the backfield as a passer, 4 for 49. He is a true 3-down back when pushed into this expanded role with Zach Charbonnet no longer available. So Kenneth Walker is going to be a huge part of whether or not this Seahawks offense can stay ahead of the sticks and also make the Patriots defense respect a lot of the play action concepts that Kubiak loves to dial up on early downs to try to get chunk plays in the passing game on generally run heavy, even personnel or down in distances. So I'm very fascinated to see which way you're going to go. But yeah, this Patriots defense, I don't want to overlook how well they played, and that a lot of that has to go to coaching. Because it feels that Mike Vrabel has really had this defense kind of punching above their weight class for the entirety of the season. And it almost feels dismissive or naive to like expect, oh, well, they just haven't played anybody. No, at this point, the reason why they keep beating teams is because they're pretty damn good. So.
Yes. No, 100%. And we can go ahead and make our picks. I feel like you're teeing me up well for that.
Flip it.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Seattle Seahawks are going to win this Super Bowl. The question is, what's the score going to be? I feel like there's going to be a lot of back and forth on defense. I think compared to some of our scores, there was some unders that we've picked and some overs. I'm going to kind of go in the middle here. And I think I'm going to go with a 27-10 victory for the Seattle Seahawks over the Patriots. It's probably low for the Patriots. It could end up being closer, but I do feel like Seattle is going to end up at least with a pick 6 from this defense, which is going to fluster the Patriots. I feel like JSN is going to end up in the end zone, and or Cooper Kupp is going to end up in there as well. I'm just excited to watch this game. I think it's going to be a really good one, and I can't wait to see what both teams do. But Tate, who are you going to take between the Seahawks and the Patriots?
I've been picking against the New England Patriots for the majority of this postseason. I did pick with you last week in the AFC
You
Championship
did, because
game.
you tried to break the mold and cheat the system.
I did. I peeked at your card before you turned it in. So, so as you could probably tell with some of my analysis, I feel more confident in some of what the Seahawks roster has to bring to the table than what the New England Patriots does. Now, I think the Patriots defense is going to make the Seahawks a bit uncomfortable. I think that they are going to have a plan for JSN. I'm not saying they're going to shut him out, but I do think that, maybe having Christian Gonzalez and Marcus Jones thrown at him, probably with some safety help over the top. I do think that they're going to have a plan for him, and I think they're going to have some success getting him involved early in this contest. That being said, I think that the Seahawks are far more pliable and flexible as far as being able to generate offense.
Mm-hmm.
That leads me to go with the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl over the New England Patriots, avenging the Malcolm Butler fiasco where Pete Carroll had amnesia that he had Marshawn Lynch on his roster.
Yeah.
A long time ago. Seattle Seahawks fans have not forgotten that one.
No.
And I don't think that Mike McDonald and Clint Kubiak are going to bail out the Patriots quite that much. Kenneth Walker is going to get plenty of run in this one. But Sam, I don't think that the New England Patriots are going to be able to generate as much pressure on Sam Darnold as the Seahawks will be able to against Drake May.
Agreed.
That is another factor. You mentioned a pick six for the Seattle Seahawks defense. I'm not going to go that bullish, but I will say that I do have confidence that the Seahawks are going to get to Drake May. Now, is he going to create a catastrophic mistake? He really hasn't done a whole lot of that in this postseason, so I'm not going to predict that. But do I think that they're going to have a little bit of trouble converting third downs on a regular basis? Yes. Sam Darnold, I don't know if I have faith in, Landry and Calebon Chason, really heating up Sam Darnold enough to force him into those mistakes. And we've seen him spiral and kind of cluster those turnovers in the past. I don't think that that's going to happen frequently in this contest. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
Okay.
Go with Sam Darnold. I'm going to go Seattle. 31. I don't want to predict a blowout. I'm going to go 31-20.
Okay. Fair. Very safe. I feel like your pick is probably closer to what's going to actually happen than the one I did. But I'm not going to change my numbers. I'm going to stick to it.
Price is right. Technically, I got the Broncos game right.
Technically. In terms of price of right rules, yes, you're right.
I think you got the Seahawks one right, so it doesn't even, we break even.
We do. A couple comments in the chat that I want to bring up here. This one from Joe. Again, it'll be a 14-plus win by the Seahawks, a real close upset win by the Patriots. Message for the Seahawks. Run the ball at the goal line. Yes, don't forget to do that. Well, I don't think that they'll forget to do that this time.
Go full Sandra Bullock from the long. No, what was it? Not the longest yard. What is it? What is the name of that movie? Run the dang ball, coach.
Yeah, The Blind Side.
That's it.
Yeah. Run the damn ball, coach. Yes, I think there's going to be a lot of that. This one from Joe as well. Drake May legs will be an X factor against the Seahawks defense. Absolutely. I definitely feel like this is going to be a big stage for Drake May to go ahead and show what he's capable of doing. And I think that the Seattle defense is going to be able to bottle him up. I'm just curious to see how that goes.
Who you got, Joe?
On all of that, do you happen to have any petty parlays? We've talked about a lot of fun storylines going into the Super Bowl. Do you have any yet? Because if not, little quick side note for all those tuning in and that are going to listen to this show when it gets launched. I won't be on the podcast next week. I think we'll figure out, Tate, if you want to hang on to the show or you want to hop on with Josh together and cover us for next week. But I won't be there because I'm going to be at Media Week. Oh, no.
I know that.
Very excited to get to go and cover it. Thanks to Women of Fantasy Football being able to send me. I really appreciate it. I got to go last year and the year before with Kelly, and we had so much fun covering and getting fun content. So, guys, if you don't already, please follow me on X at Samantha R. Holt and on Instagram at Sam_awesome to see all the fun content that we're going to be posting live from Media Week. Again, getting to go to the pressers and all this fun stuff. If there's questions you guys have that you want me to ask these players, please throw them in the chat. If they're not crazy, I might just go ahead and ask them. But Tate, with all that being said, I just don't want to leave you without an opportunity to give us some fun petty parlays.
How can I not have one?
I know. Joe's in the chat. Petty Super Bowl. This is the king of pettiness with this matchup. We talked about the drama. Let's go.
The granddaddy of them all, the Super Bowl. Of course. Yes. Kids, let's go ahead and get ready. It's the Tater Parlay of the Day, Super Bowl edition. Count them with me. 1, 2, 3-leg parlay. Look, Sam, I'm going to go ahead and make a request because you once did something that's really super cool and you need to do super cool again. History repeats itself. You're going to be talking to Sam Darnold at a Super Bowl media event. And that I guarantee Sam is going to remember you exactly because you came up and started chatting with him and you said he wasn't even at his own table. He was in the quarterback room.
It's all by himself with the Niners.
Yeah, well, he's going to be like, hey.
He's going to be surrounded this time.
I remember you from last time. And yes, I would love to answer your questions. Hey, by the way, though, Sam, for real, congratulations. That's super awesome.
I'm excited.
You're going to kill it.
It'll be fun.
That being said, Seahawks Patriots, Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I've already picked the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm going to go ahead and give you couple of those touchdowns, the Seattle Seahawks are going to go ahead and score. I already mentioned some of my concerns about Jackson Smith and Jigba and how I think that Christian Gonzalez and Marcus Jones are probably going to try to prevent or provide a speed bump to JSN, if you will.
Yeah.
So other guys are going to have to show up. And to me, that screams Rashid Shaheed. When you think of garbage, think of not Shaheed because that's a Coming to America reference, and he's not going to be garbage in this game.
He's going to be amazing.
In fact, the sheer gall that it took for the Seahawks to make a trade at the deadline to acquire Rashid Shaheed because he had familiarity with this exact scheme and made a big play in the NFC Championship game to help get the Seattle Seahawks to the Super Bowl. I think he's going to have a big impact in this Super Bowl as well. I think he is a true X factor because if you are going to roll coverage over to slow down JSN, as you well should, then it's going to leave one-on-one opportunities on for other receivers in this offense. And I think Shaheed is one of the guys that is very capable of punishing the New England secondary if they try to match him with Carlton Davis out on the perimeter one-on-one. Give me over 50 receiving yards and a score for Rashid Shaheed in the Super Bowl. That's number one. Number two, Sam. Kenneth Walker.
Yes.
K9. Give me the guy that has been truly, I think, underutilized for most of his Seahawks career. Some of it having to do with durability concerns, but I think he's really come into his own over these last two games. Obviously had a big game against the 49ers with over 100 yards rushing and 3 scores in that contest, had over 100 total yards in the NFC Championship game and a score. Go ahead, just copy and paste. I'm going to go over 100 total yards and a score for Kenneth Walker in this contest as well. I just believe that they're going to keep getting enough possessions. When they get down close, Walker's going to be the preferred guy. George Halani only saw 3 carries against the Los Angeles Rams last week and only produced 4 yards on the ground. Give me Kenneth Walker, also 100 total yards and a score in this contest. But then on the other side, Sam, the best path for the New England Patriots to really pull off an improbable run to hoisting their 7th Lombardi trophy in franchise history
I don't like
is if Drake May puts on the cape and truly cements himself as the heir apparent to Tom Brady. I think he's already done it. Yeah. But if he brings home another Lombardi trophy to New England, man, he will have officially, I think everybody outside of New England exceeded any expectations that this man could have had for this season. I don't care how ugly it is. I think Drake May is going to battle. And I know that the Seahawks are going to have a plan for him taking off as a runner. I don't care. I think he's going to still run one in this game. I don't know how much success Ramondre Stevenson's going to have. I think that they are going to get to Drake May. Maybe if you want to take a sacks prop, like 4 or more sacks, because it seems like Drake May gets sacked 5 times in every playoff game. But Drake May is going to take off. I have him for a rushing score in this contest. But coming out on the wrong side, even though it's still been a very successful season. And that's the last Tater parlay of the day for the 2025 NFL season. Count them with me, kids. 1, 2, 3 leg parlay. See you next season.
Love it. Joe in the chat was asking for the Kenneth Walker rushing TDs. So definitely got that for him. Appreciate you doing that. I mean, there's so much leading up to this that I'm excited about. One thing I want to make sure I don't forget about mentioning, there is a link that's added to this show today that has our merch shop for Women of Fantasy Football for the Super Bowl. There's some fun stuff in there if you guys want to go ahead and go in and join and support. All the funds that we raise for that go to help us go to these events and get you the content. So would really appreciate you guys going over there and checking it out. There's some fun stuff. I designed a couple little designs going on in there for some sweaters, some fun stickers, hats. There's a bunch of fun stuff going into there. So should you be interested, go ahead and check that out. Click the link. It should all arrive to before the Super Bowl. Just get in there today. So that way you get the fun stuff. There's a lot of, all of them I think the sweaters are all unisex sizing. So they should all be fun and oversized and comfy and hopefully keep you all warm during this cold front everyone seems to be seeing. I know.
Yeah, I know. Look at, I need a sweater myself. I feel like this is something that maybe I wear to like a nursing home or something. I need a new wardrobe if you want to help out.
Yeah. There's some merch. Click the link. Oh, Joe chiming in. Appreciate it. Putting my whole savings into it. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you for saving me, Joe.
All right. Any final thoughts before we sign off today? Again, this is our last show before Media Week next week.
Right.
I'm sure that you and Josh, if you decide to jump on, so that way we don't leave any of our lovely viewers, listeners, especially for the lives, wondering what questions they have going into the Super Bowl. We'll figure that out. But besides that, then we have Super Bowl. We'll take a week off for sure. And then you and I will be back at it talking about this next coming season and your favorite thing, which is the run up and rookie content for this draft.
The NFL draft.
Yes.
You got it. Oh, come on. We're going to talk, Sam, we're going to talk about all kinds of exciting things that get me super excited, which is how quarterbacks are able to identify pre-snap, post-snap. Do they play on time within this construct of the concept that they're running? Do they throw to the field, to the boundary on time? Oh, gosh.
You're going to get to watch Tate nerd out in a way that none of you knew you wanted, but it's a good time. I can guarantee it.
Thanks.
I have fun.
Thank you, everyone, for an outstanding season. This is obviously we just launched the show this year, so for all of the love and support, really appreciate y'all. Sam is a rock star. She's going to be going to the Super Bowl again to go ahead and cover us. And Sam, you're going to do great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much, guys. And yes, to layer onto that, really appreciate you guys always tuning in with some amazing questions for the lives. You guys have been fantastic. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of content that Women of Fantasy Football has to offer. Until next time, we will see you in the next season. Have a good one, guys.